Airmen who directed danger close airstrikes in ferocious firefight will receive medal. So Air Force Staff Sergeant Alexei Germanovich, Special Tactics Combat Controller with 26 Special Tactics Squadron, 24 Special Operations Air Wing, Air Force Special Operations Command. So what this guy is, what Staff Sergeant Alexei Germanovich is for one, Staff Sergeant in Air Force is an E5. In the Army and Marine Corps, it's an E6, but in the Air Force, it's an E5. E6 in the Air Force is a Tech Sergeant. So he's an E5 who is he's a Special Operations JTAC. Basically, what his job is to conduct air control for soldiers on the ground so that they can focus on being shooters or breachers or medics or whatever their job is. What these guys do is one of the coolest jobs in the military. So a CCT or a combat controller is an Air Force airman who has gone through Special Forces selection and training, including Air Traffic Control School, and now usually deploys as a sole individual to go out to support some kind of SF operations globally, and commonly it is with the Army Green Berets. So I'm just looking up John Chapman here. So John Chapman is a famous Air Force CCT who was awarded the Medal of Honor for his actions on August 22nd, 2018 for his, during the Battle of Takur or the Battle of Roberts Ridge, you might know it as. So these guys are out there getting after it like serious battlefield impact. And very few people know a lot about them. Like I even talked to people who were in the military and I'm like, oh yeah, he was a CCT. And they're like, what's a CCT? If I said he was a Navy SEAL, if I said this guy was a Navy SEAL, you'd be like, oh, okay, he's a Navy SEAL. You know, I know what that is. But you probably don't know, or you might not know what a CCT is. A CCT has just as much training as a Navy SEAL or a Green Beret or a Marine Raider. They go to selection, they go to jump school, they go to dive school. They are all around badasses. And then not only that, but they deploy by themselves to a team that they might not even know. They just get there and they're like, hey, I'm your CCT. Let's go. Let's get after it. And he starts calling in airstrikes on people. So their main job is to call in and direct airstrikes or coordinate aircraft events for teams. So just a little further background on what a CCT is before I get into what this guy did, which is awesome. A combat controller's responsibility might be coordinating helos into and out of your bases to move people. They might schedule you for any other type of air movement. So they're doing air tasks, air requests, air support requests. They're getting people moving around the country. Then what they generally do is on a mission is take the aircraft that are available to them and direct those aircraft. So they'll call up an aircraft. Let's say there's a A-10 overhead and they'll say, hey, this is me. And I need you to do a gun run on said target. And then the aircraft will do that gun run, and then they'll coordinate with another aircraft or another airstrike. They'll coordinate medevacs, whatever it is. Any air support goes through these CCTs. Other people can be qualified as JTACs. So a Navy SEAL can be a JTAC. Somebody in the Army can be a JTAC. A Marine can be a JTAC. You can be a JTAC as a qualification. These guys are professional JTACs. That's what they do. They talk to aircraft. So this guy, Alexei Germanovich, so I'll pull up the article here from military.com. The Air Force will award a Special Tactics Combat Controller, or a CCT, the second highest military award for calling in danger close gunship airstrikes while under siege in Afghanistan. Air Force Secretary Barbara Barrett will present Staff Sergeant Alexei Germanovich of the 26th Special Tactics Squadron out of New Mexico, the Air Force Cross, so it's the Air Force Cross, not the Airman Cross, for his actions in Nangarhar Province in 2017. The ceremony will take place December 10th, so that's at the end of this week. Air Force Special Operations Command announced Friday. Germanovich, serving as a Joint Terminal Attack Controller, or a JTAC, under Combined Joint Special Operations Air Component Afghanistan. Sorry, when they start rattling off acronyms, but with the whole word, it's a mouthful. So he was on a mission on April 8th, 2017 to clear and recoup territory from enemy combatants alongside a team of Army Special Forces and Afghan commandos, according to his award citation. So what you're seeing here is you've got a guy who is a CCT out there with a team of Green Berets supporting commandos. Commandos is what we would call Afghanis who were part of maybe an Afghani special forces team. So the Afghanis had their own special forces, part of the National Army, and we would call them commandos. So somewhere I have a commando patch in store. I wish I had all that stuff. So on April 8th, where am I? So the mission took 17 days. On many of those days, American and Afghan forces faced close combat with enemy forces and required close air support and medical evacuation. 17-day mission. A 17-day mission. Holy smokes. On April 8th, Germanovich and the Special Forces teams found themselves locked in a ferocious firefight and taking a barrage of machine gun and sniper fire that allowed insurgent forces to close in on their location. And guys, this story gets way crazier. During the hours-long battle, Germanovich sprinted hundreds of feet into the open towards his isolated teammates to direct multiple aircraft strafing runs, according to the citation. Some 500-pound and 2,000-pound bombs struck as close as 300 feet from the position. Now, the deal with that is each bomb, one thing that CCTs are experts at is understanding the weapons that are on aircraft. They know better than anybody, frankly, the capabilities of aircraft. Like you tell them an aircraft, they know what bombs it carries and the effective ranges and distances and how to use those weapons on the battlefield. They're experts at it. No one's better. So he would understand very well what he was asking an aircraft to do when he was dropping these bombs 300 feet away from himself, which was put them at major risk. And I say that not just because of the blast radius of these bombs, which can hurt you, at 100 yards easily, because we're talking about a football field away, which is nothing. That's nothing. So these blasts put them at high risk. Now, the thing is, though, when you call in an airstrike, you're hoping that bomb hits in the exact right spot, but it could easily be off by meters, by 10, 20 meters. And if it is, then you're looking at that bomb hits you or your teammates. And the other thing is you have to be right on with where you're calling those grids on. So he has to coordinate and say where he wants those bombs to hit. But if he passes the wrong grid, he could call an airstrike on friendly forces. And this is in the middle of chaos, too. Like, this is how serious these guys' jobs are. It's no joke. The thing is, there's multiple ways to do this. And if you guys want to talk more about how airstrikes are conducted, I'll do that on another episode. I would love to. But let's get back to what he did that day, what his actions were. So on April 8th, Germanovich and the Special Forces teams found themselves locked in a ferocious gunfight, taking a barrage of machine gun and sniper fire that allowed insurgent forces to close in on their location. Some 500 and 2,000 pounds bomb struck as close as 300 feet from his position, the service said. After one team member, Army Staff Sergeant Mark de Alencar, was killed in action. Unfortunately, Staff Sergeant Alencar was killed in action. Germanovich moved to place himself between the attacking enemy and his team in order to protect them with his body and employ his own suppressive fires, which means he ran to the killed staff sergeant, shielded him, and then returned fire with his own weapon, because CCTs are going to fight too. Like, they're part of the fight. So not only are they shooters while they're doing that while they're talking to these aircraft. With their ammunition dwindling, some members drew their sidearm pistols instead to fight back. Listen, if you pull your pistol, that's a bad day. That's a bad day. That is your backup weapon, and only to be used as a backup weapon when you're within 25 yards. So basically, the way I was trained, and I don't know everyone's tactics, but the way I was trained was if you have, like, let's say a weapons malfunction, or you run out of ammunition in the magazine that you're using, you transition to your secondary weapon, which would be your pistol, right? But only if they're within 20, if the contact is within 25 yards. If the contact is outside of 25 yards, you fix your malfunction or reload your weapon. So these guys are out of ammunition. First of all, they're on a 17-day mission, right? So they're having to get resupplies at certain points along the way. Then they're running out of ammunition or Winchestering, so they're out of ammo, and they're switching to their sidearms. This is like a worst case scenario. This is not good. Not a good place to be. Not what you want. If you're defending yourself with your pistol, you're on your last resorts here. So with their ammunition dwindling, some service members drew their sidearm pistols instead to fight back. Germanovich, meanwhile, directed close air support from an AC-130 gunship as close as 100 feet from their location. An AC-130 100 feet away. That is insane. 100 feet, that's not safe. You're talking a minor miscalculation, a stray round coming right at you. During the 8-hour attack, the Special Tactics Airmen also coordinated medical evacuation helicopters to extract the wounded and helped carry a soldier uphill to a landing zone as he continued to call for close air support. More than 150 friendly forces made it out that day because of Germanovich's actions. So when they say more than 150 friendly forces, a lot of those are going to be commandos because there was probably 20 or 30 Americans on that mission, I would imagine. It was probably the Green Berets, CCT, maybe some infantry guys, maybe some other support staff, and then you would have Afghans and commandos. Through his extraordinary heroism, superb airmanship, and aggressiveness in the face of the enemy, Airman Germanovich reflected the highest credit upon himself in the United States Air Force's citation reads, the award makes Germanovich the 12th Special Tactics Airman to receive the Air Force Cross since 9/11. I feel like they could have awarded a lot more CCTs, TACPs, JTACs, whatever Special Tactics Airmen, whatever you call their group. They go by a lot of names. The Air Force Cross, because these guys conduct themselves in an absolute exemplary, outstanding manner. Courageous heroes on the battlefield making a big difference. The Special Tactics community collectively has received 1 Medal of Honor. That's John Chapman. 12 Air Force Crosses and 50 Silver Star medals over the last 2 decades. 50 Silver Stars being the second highest award outside of the Medal of Honor and outside of the branch-specific crosses. So if you guys don't know about CCTs, they are the real deal. They're the truth, so to speak. I've been lucky enough to work with a bunch of them, and every time was an absolute pleasure. Not only did I learn a lot from them, they're good people. I still stay in touch with a bunch of them. It's an incredible community. These guys are all around world-class badasses. And if you're one of the people who watch and listen to the show who are thinking about joining the military and you are thinking about going special forces, I would tell you to take a look at the Air Force and the CCT program, because that's a good life. That's a good life. If you're trying to go SF and you're looking for a way to do it, that would be a good way to do it. What's up, guys? Thanks for watching that video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead and hit that subscribe button up in the corner here and check out this next video. If you want, in the description down below, there's links where you can get ScuttleButt Show merch and find out how you can support the channel. I really appreciate it, and I look forward to talking to you guys very soon.